Did Donald Trump engage in willful recklessness when he took election advice from Rudy Giuliani, knowing that Rudy Giuliani has a problem with alcohol consumption? That's the question that special counsel Jack Smith is asking in the federal indictment against Donald Trump over his role in attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Now, what's fascinating is that Trump's defense, or at least part of his defense, is that, golly gee, what could I have done? I was just taking advice from counsel. And in this case, the counsel he's referring to is Rudy Giuliani. He's essentially throwing his own lawyers under the bus and pretending as though he did not engage in any illegality, any type of bad behavior. And if that is his defense, well, he should know that Jack Smith is now looking into whether or not Donald Trump was aware of Rudy Giuliani's drinking problem as he was accepting that advice. Now, the counsel in question, again, is Trump's lawyer and ally, Rudy Giuliani, as detailed by reporters Asawin, Suebsaeng, and Adam Rawnsley. Apologies if I mispronounced that name. The disgraced former mayor of New York was not only witness to have been inebriated at several points throughout the campaign, but that Trump knew Giuliani was a heavy drinker. That's the allegation here. Now, in their questioning of multiple witnesses, Smith's team of federal investigators have asked questions about how seemingly intoxicated Giuliani was during the weeks he was giving Trump advice on how to cling to power, according to a source who's been in the room with Smith's team, one witness's attorney, and a third person familiar with the matter. Now, Jack Smith's team is also questioning the witnesses on other things, including whether or not Trump ever gossiped about Rudy Giuliani's drinking problem, and if Trump claimed Giuliani's drinking impacted his decision-making or judgment. And what did the witnesses tell Smith's team so far? Here's what the Rolling Stone reports. They say that some witnesses told Smith's team that they saw Giuliani consuming significant quantities of alcohol. Some told the special counsel's office that they could clearly smell alcohol on Giuliani's breath, including on election night, and that they noticed distinct changes in his demeanor from hours prior, the sources tell Rolling Stone. Got a few more details, but Cenk, it is interesting that the potential defense, which I think is a weak one to begin with, could even backfire on Trump in this regard, where he could be accused of willful recklessness.
Yeah, I'm gonna give first word to one of our members, Funkin' for Fun, wrote in, the only proof Rudy has is 80 proof.
Oh my God.
I love our members. Hey, you know what? $100 Blue Apron gift card. We sometimes give that to members for great comments. tyt.com/join to become a member, or if you're on YouTube, hit the join button below the video. And Funkin' for Fun, go to rewards@tyt.com to claim it and show that you're a member. Okay, so Rudy Giuliani, does he have a drinking problem? Come on, okay? And now the problem again for Trump is verbal diarrhea. Has he mentioned that Rudy Giuliani has a drinking problem? Almost certainly, right? So they're gonna go fishing to find if he has said that, and if he has, that shows you that he should not have relied on that counsel. First of all, it's a super weak defense to begin with. Let me explain why. So you can't say, well, my lawyer told me it was okay to murder him. I just trusted my lawyer that it was okay to murder. That's a terrible defense, okay? But made only worse by my lawyer was passed out in the corner, and I went over to him, is it okay to murder him? And he went, oh yeah. Okay.
Good advice.
Good advice, I'll take it. What could I do? Advice of counsel, right? And in the courtroom, they'll probably play the tape of Rudy's hair polish going down his face, right? And several different appearances where he's slurring his words. They might even bring out some of that stuff we made fun of, where, forget the name of the thing where you pay him $30 and then he debases himself. Cameo things where he looks super drunk and is saying ridiculous things.
Right, there was also a lengthy piece, I believe it was in the New York Times if I'm not mistaken, where they reported on his constant accidental dials of reporters. Like he would accidentally call reporters, and then he would just kind of engage in questionable speech. There's quite a bit of evidence of Rudy Giuliani's drinking. It's been public for quite some time now. In fact, during the January 6th committee's investigation, a former Trump campaign senior advisor talked about Giuliani drinking too much. We have video of that. Let's take a look.
Anyone in that conversation who, in your observation, had too much to drink?
Like Mayor Giuliani, there were suggestions by, I believe it was Mayor Giuliani, to go and declare victory and say that we'd won it outright.
It was far too early to be making any calls like that. Ballots were still being counted. Ballots were still going to be counted for days. And it was far too early to be making any proclamation like that.
I remember saying that, to the best of my memory, I was saying that we should not go and declare victory until we had a better sense of the numbers.
That is pretty damning.
Jason Miller is a huge Trump advocate.
Yes.
That is not a guy who's on the outside. He is very much on the inside.
Still till this day.
Yeah, and he's an enormous loyalist. He hasn't turned on Trump 1%. He had no idea at the time that admitting that Rudy is obviously sauce to everyone around him could be damaging when Trump makes an absurd defense that, well, I mean, my lawyers told me I could commit any crime I like, right? And my lawyers told me that a coup is totally fine, and you set up fake electors and you have to sign fake documents. My lawyer told me fake documents are awesome. Well, now the problem is your lawyers are drunk and you knew it. And remember, Trump, a little bit to his credit, I guess, doesn't drink at all. His brother died from issues related to alcohol, and so he's not very tolerant of drinking. So that's why he's likely to have said things about Rudy that were not kind, related to his alcohol consumption, and all of this is obviously problematic. And remember, guys, come on, Rudy was an obvious hot mess in front of the whole country. Remember when he said he was going to do the press conference at the Four Seasons? And then it turned out that the Four Seasons was a porn shop, and they got the wrong Four Seasons. That's the one where his face melted. And they're like, no, it's fine. No, we meant it. Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, they're like, no, we meant the Four Seasons porn shop. That's where we meant to do it. Well, that's where you would mean to do it if you already had 3 martinis at breakfast.
Was it a porn shop? I don't remember that.
Oh, it wasn't porn? What was it?
No. It was a
landscaping.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of book.
Why are you doing them dirty like that? Poor
there was
landscaping company.
Porn shop next to it. Okay. Edwin's our boss, so he figured this out.
Yeah. Okay.
So I knew there was something off with it.
So look, a few other things I want to quickly mention though. Even if it is proven that Donald Trump was fully aware of Rudy Giuliani's issues with alcoholism, and he is, using the I listened to my lawyers and that's why I did what I did defense, you have to keep in mind there are other individuals around him who gave him similar advice, John Eastman being one of them. I don't believe that John Eastman is an alcoholic or someone who's under the influence or inebriated as he's cooking up plots to essentially undermine our democratic process. But again, I think it's really important to keep in mind, this is in my opinion, a small story, because fact of the matter is that defense is pathetic. Right? If you believe that the election is stolen from you, you're gonna wanna see the evidence, right? And there was no evidence presented, not a shred of evidence presented in the more than 60 cases that they brought before federal judges. And every single federal judge is like, where's the evidence? We don't have the evidence. Okay, then let's wrap this up. So Trump knew that there was no evidence, but he pushed ahead. Till this day, he claims that the election was stolen from him.
Yeah, guys, John Eastman also wrote, he has no alcohol issues that we know, but he wrote that, hey, we all have to get pardons and we all have to get lawyers. You know why you write that? Because you know you've committed a criminal act. And when the lawyer says, like, you could do this, but then you'll have to pardon all of us, that might be a clue that you're doing something that is a criminal conspiracy. I mean, to me, that probably ends the case. I mean, when your defense is, I relied on my lawyer, and your lawyer told you he's gonna need a pardon because what you guys are doing is criminal. Any regular defendant not named Donald Trump, guilty and doing serious time.
Yeah, sounds like willful recklessness if you ask me. So why is Jack Smith doing this? Final thing I'll share with you based on the reporting in Rolling Stones. Now, the subject could help demonstrate that Trump was implementing the counsel of somebody he knew was under the influence and was not thinking clearly. If that were the case, it could add to federal prosecutors' argument that Trump behaved with willful recklessness in his attempts to nullify the 2020 election. And if federal prosecutors were to make this argument in court, it could undermine Trump and his legal team's advice of counsel defense. That is the whole point of looking into this. And I think on this area, or in this area, Jack Smith has a lot of public evidence to work with. But look, aside from taking advice from questionable counsel, there is a lot more evidence that is going to be used against Trump in this case, including, of course, the Georgia phone call, pressuring secretaries of state to essentially overturn the results in these battleground states from essentially supporting Biden to then voting for Donald Trump. All of this stuff is going to play a role in this trial. So obviously we'll update you all as we learn more as the trial progresses.
Hey guys, one last thing that's important in this regard. Remember, they're getting tried together in the Georgia case, right? So he's gonna have to say, these losers gave me the wrong advice. It's Giuliani's fault and it's Eastman's fault. Now, what are Giuliani and Eastman gonna do other than go to lunch and get sauced? They're gonna push back, presumably. Or who knows, maybe they're the biggest betas in the world and they'll be like, yes, give me 40 years, I don't care, I'll take it, the bullet for Trump. But as Trump's team goes, their fault, right? At some point, Rudy might go, all right, that's it, I've had enough. Here's what we actually did. And we all knew it was illegal, we all knew we were doing a coup, we all knew this. And if you do it to Eastman enough, he's like, brother, how much clearer could I have been? I asked for a pardon. Obviously, we all knew we were part of a criminal conspiracy.
I can't get past the fact that there was a memo written by someone in Trump's team that literally had the subject line, like, fraudulent electors.
Yeah, fraudulent
They knew
electors.
they were fraudulent. They knew it.
Yeah.
They wrote it down. I mean, just it's big brain activity here, big brains.
Yeah, and look, one last thing on this particular case. For MAGA, I know they go, oh, national secrets, who cares? You could zap them and blah, blah, blah. And like if Biden had done it, they'd lose their minds. But then they'll say, oh, well, Biden kind of did do it and so did Pence, blah. You can get lost in all those weeds if you want to, because you're trying to find an excuse for Trump, right? But in this case, he was trying to overturn democracy. And you guys are good with that? Like, it's super obvious that's what he was trying to do. That's why they wanted fake electors, not the real electors. You think Trump didn't know he lost? He knew he lost. Everybody knew he lost.
Trump has zero loyalty to this country, to our democratic process, and to the American people. Zero loyalty. And while he expects loyalty from his supporters, he expects loyalty from all his aides and the people who surround him, he doesn't show a shred of loyalty to anyone else. But again, to me, what matters the most, if you actually care about freedom, is maintaining and protecting our democracy. Donald Trump doesn't care about that at all.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.